The stars above Drenner system were quiet. Inside the main command ship of the Drenaki fleet, Commander Varan stood in front of a giant screen. His long dark hands rested behind his back. His eyes stared at the blinking dots on the map each. Dot was a friendly ship, a strong fleet of 92 vessels. Ready for patrol. Ready for war. Suddenly, a small beep echoed through the control room. "Unknown signal detected," said the scanner officer. His voice was calm at first, but then it cracked. "Commander, it's coming from the edge of the system." Varan turned. "Show me." The screen zoomed in. A single dot appeared. It wasn't like the others. It was cold, black, moving fast. No ID, no broadcast signal. "It's silent," the officer said. "Could be a rock. Or a cloaked probe," someone whispered. But then the room went quiet. The scanner beeped again. Words appeared on the screen in bright red. Human signature confirmed. Every alien in the room stopped breathing. Someone dropped a datapad. Another stepped. Back from their console. Commander Varan's eyes narrowed. "No. It can't be," he muttered. "Humans haven't been seen in this sector for 50 years. "Maybe it's an error," said the young lieutenant. He was shaking. The old technician behind him replied, "The scanner doesn't lie." Panic crept through the room like poison in water. The Drenaki were a proud race. Tall, armored, with skin like living stone. They had conquered 3 systems, crushed 2 rebellions. They feared nothing, except humans. Long ago, when Varan was just a boy, his father told him stories of Earth's final war. A war where humans didn't just fight, they erased entire fleets. Alone, silent, cold. No one knew how, no one knew why. They just vanished after that, like ghosts. But now, one of their ships had returned. "Prepare the fleet," Varan said firmly. "Full alert, shields up, ready all weapons." Sirens echoed through the ship. Lights flashed red. Pilots rushed to their fighters. Across the system, other captains saw the signal too. "What is it?" one asked. "A human ship," replied another. "Only one. That can't be right. It doesn't need to be more." As the strange object moved closer, it stayed silent. No radio. No lights. No response. Just quiet movement, like a shadow gliding through space. "It's not attacking," said the weapons officer. Varan frowned. "It doesn't need to." He turned to his crew. "Do not fire. Not unless it attacks first." On the second screen, Varan watched the alien captains begin to speak to each other through private channels. "They're whispering," said the comms officer. "Let them," Varan said. "They're afraid." One captain sent a direct message. "Why is it here?" Another replied, "Run now, before it locks on." Another voice came. "One of them destroyed my cousin's fleet. Alone." Varan didn't move. He stood tall. But inside, he felt the fear too. Why had the humans sent just one ship? Was it a scout? A warning? Or something else? The ship kept coming. Closer. Closer. Then it stopped, right at the edge of the defense zone. Still completely silent. "Commander," said the comms officer, "we're getting no signal. Nothing. It's like it doesn't care if we see it. Or maybe it wanted them to see it." Suddenly, the lights dimmed. The scanners began to glitch. Power fluctuation. Shouted an engineer. And then, just for a second, the shape of the human warship appeared on the main screen. It was black, sharp, no markings. No windows. Just metal. Heavy. Silent. Watching. Everyone stared. "Is it charging weapons?" someone asked. "No," said the weapons officer. "It's doing nothing." And yet, the fear in the room grew like fire. Varan whispered to himself, "They're not here to fight. Not yet. They want us to know they can." Outside the main ship, Across the system, small patrol ships began to back away. Captains sent emergency calls to their superiors. Some didn't even wait. They turned and jumped into hyperspace without orders. Deserters. Varan growled, but he couldn't blame them. Even he was shaking now. This was just the beginning. The human ship had arrived, and the whole fleet knew something terrible was coming. The command deck was quieter now. Commander Varan stood still, staring at the frozen image of the black human ship on the screen. It wasn't moving. It wasn't speaking. But it didn't have to. The fear had already spread. He could feel it in the air like cold fog slipping through steel walls. He turned and walked to the war table in the center of the room. As the officers whispered, he pressed a code on the table. A glowing image appeared, an old record, locked under restricted military eyes only. No one else in the room had seen it before, but Varan had. The hologram flickered, and a voice began to speak. It was rough, shaking with fear. Not Dranaki. It was a voice from another species long extinct now. This message is a warning. If you hear this, run. Do not face the humans. Do not talk. Do not answer. We did. We were wrong. The video shifted to a star map. Whole sectors marked with red crosses. Systems that no longer existed. Planets turned to ash. A fleet, strong and proud, was shown in formation, and then gone. In a single blink, no battle, no sound, just vanished. The hologram ended. Silence returned. VARR, and turned to his crew. Do you know what that was? He asked. The young officer Trell swallowed hard. The Ghost War. Vareen nodded. 50 years ago. The humans came without warning. No demands, no messages, just destruction. But why? Another asked. No one knows, Varan said. Some say a peace treaty was broken. Others say humans were attacked first. But in the end, it didn't matter. He pointed at the screen, where the human ship still waited in deep space. They didn't come to negotiate. They came to erase. Varan looked up, and his voice grew cold. My father was a soldier back then. His ship escaped. Barely. He said the humans never shouted, never laughed, never roared in battle like us. They fought like machines? No, Varan said. They fought like they were already dead. The weapons officer walked forward, his voice shaking. But why now? Why send one ship? Why not an army? No one had an answer, and that silence was worse than a scream. Suddenly, the lights flickered again. Another ship fled, a destroyer. It broke formation without permission and jumped into hyperspace. They're running now, the communications officer said. More captains are requesting permission to withdraw. Varan clenched his fists. We are not cowards, he barked. We stand and observe. We do not fire. We do not run. His voice echoed in the room. Some stood taller. Others didn't meet his gaze, but deep inside, even Varan wondered, what if it moves next? What if this is just a test? He turned to the screen again. The ship hadn't changed. No weapons. Raised. No engines glowing. Just silence. But something felt wrong. Something deeper than fear. This wasn't just a warship. It was a message. Trell spoke. Again quietly. Sir, what if that ship is not here to attack? Varan looked at him. Then why come at all? Trell shook his head. Maybe it's watching, judging, waiting to see how we react. The thought hit the room like thunder. If that was true, then every ship that ran had already failed the test. Varan turned to the war table. Send this to every captain still in formation. He said, tell them we hold. We do not move. We wait. He paused, and we pray. Outside, in the cold blackness of space, the human ship hovered in silence. Its hull shimmered faintly with strange runes. Its engines were quiet, like a creature sleeping. With one eye open, it watched the Dranaki fleet, and it waited. But deep inside the command deck of the human ship, something was moving. One figure stood alone at the center, covered in black armor, face hidden, heart still, and the ship's AI whispered, "Phase 1 complete. Observing response. Enemy morale unstable." The figure didn't speak. He simply raised one finger. The ship's lights shifted to red. The countdown had begun. Asterisk. The Dranaki fleet waited in silence. Not a single message came from the human ship. Not a name, not a warning, not a sound. It just hovered there, black as night, glowing with red lines that pulsed like a heartbeat. Commander Varan stood at the front of the command deck, eyes locked on the screen. "How is it still unmarked?" he asked sharply. "Every ship has an ID, a call sign, a flag," the scanner officer answered. "There's nothing. It's like the ship was built outside our known star codes. It's invisible to our systems." Another officer added, "It doesn't even have a name, Commander." Varan stared. "A nameless warship." He paused. Only humans would do that. No pride, no honor, just purpose. On the second screen, another message came in from Sector. "Captain Reeses, my crew refuses to fight. They say the stories are real. Request permission to retreat." Varan didn't answer. He couldn't, because deep inside, he understood the fear. He felt it too. Long ago, alien fleets gave names to their flagships. Stormbringer, Fang of Fire, Starbreaker. They wanted to be feared. But humans gave no name to this ship. And that made it worse, because a nameless enemy had nothing to prove, and nothing to lose. In the shadows of the black ship, scanners tried to break through its surface. They failed. "Commander," said the tech officer, "its hull is unnatural. No known metal, no heat leaks, no life signs." Varan frowned. "No crew? I don't know. It could be empty, or hiding something inside." Another officer whispered, "Or someone." Across the Dranaki fleet, confusion and fear began to spread again. 2 more ships broke formation and disappeared into hyperspace. Now only 63 remained. Some captains stayed quiet. Others begged for orders. Varan finally spoke. "Hold position. Do not speak to the ship. Do not fire. And do not move." But even his voice was growing cold. Suddenly, the red lights on the human ship blinked once. Just once. And then the ship began to shift. It didn't move forward. It turned. Slowly. Like it was choosing who to face. "Is it targeting us?" the weapons officer asked, voice tight. "No," Varan said. "It's watching us." On the far edge of the fleet, a small scout ship tried something foolish. It moved forward, trying to scan the human vessel more closely. "Captain Khan is breaking formation." Someone shouted, "Recall him now." Varan barked, but it was too late. The human ship blinked again, and for a brief second, a beam of red light hit the scout. No explosion. No fire. Just silence. The scout ship floated. Dead. Every system shut off. Every crew member unconscious. Still alive, but silence. The message was clear. Do not come closer. The rest of the fleet froze. Even breathing seemed dangerous now. On the human ship, deep inside the control chamber, the figure in black armor watched everything through a glowing red screen. Still silent, still waiting. The A whispered again. Second warning delivered. Dranaki fleet stability, 43%. Leadership hesitation, confirmed. A red circle pulsed on the screen. Targeting systems came online, awaiting command. But the armored figure gave no order. Instead, he raised 2 fingers this time. Another silent. Signal dot, and then the human ship sent a sound wave across the system. Not a voice, not a word, just a low hum dot. It echoed through every Dranaki ship dot. The decks vibrated. The hulls groaned. The crew held their ears dot. Was not a weapon, dot. It was worse, dot. It was a warning. And every soldier felt it in their bones dot. Commander Varan knew it now. This ship wasn't here to fight a war dot. It was here to test them dot. To see who would run dot. To see who would stay. And the more they waited, the more it studied them. Varan stepped back from the screen. He gave one last order for the day. Record everything. No one speaks. No one moves. We are under the eye of a ghost. Outside, the human ship floated silent, cold, and watching dot. Still without a name. Still without mercy. Asterisk hours passed. The Dranaki fleet remained frozen in space dot. No shots fired dot. No words spoken. The human ship didn't move again dot. It hovered like a shadow at the edge of light, silent, endless, nameless dot. Inside the Dranaki flagship, Commander Varan stared at the red-tinted screen. Crew members sat still at their stations. No one spoke. Some refused to blink. They were waiting for something dot. Anything dot. Then it happened. Commander, whispered the comms officer. Incoming signal? The room froze. Varan's voice was quiet. From the human ship? Yes. Sir, open channel. A sharp click echoed across the bridge. Then, silence dot. No video dot. No symbol dot. No face. Just a voice dot. Mail dot. Called dot. And human. Leave this system. You have 60 seconds. That was all dot. No anger dot. No threat. Just instruction dot. The message ended. The room stayed silent. Like it couldn't breathe dot. The comms officer turned pale. Replay it. Varan said dot. The voice returned. Leave this system. You have 60 seconds. Again, it ended. Still no sound from the human ship dot. Still no movement. Varan's heart pounded in his chest. A simple voice, no demands. No negotiation dot. Just an order. And it sounded like the speaker already knew how the Dranaki would answer. Across the system, panic exploded. Ships began to turn. Some jumped into hyperspace without warning. Others begged for orders. Commander, we can't fight that. Sir, my crew is abandoning their posts. They gave us a chance. We should take it. Stand down, Varan barked. Hold formation. But even he knew it was too late. The countdown had started. His fleet was already breaking. On the human ship, a red circle on the control panel began to shrink. 60. 59, 58. The black-armored figure didn't speak. He simply watched, and the AI counted softly. Retreat ratio rising. 41% of enemy vessels preparing to jump. Morale collapse accelerating. Still no weapons raised, still no action taken, and yet the fear was winning. Back in the command deck, Varan stared at the screen. Why just one message? He whispered. They're testing us, said Officer Trull. Varan nodded. Or teaching us. More ships vanished into hyperspace. Red dots on the screen faded one by one. Every second, the fleet got smaller. Every second, the humans won without even firing. Sir, the comms officer said, 3 more captains request permission to retreat. Varan didn't answer. His eyes were fixed on the human ship. Still watching, still silent. Countdown at 20 seconds, said the sensor officer. Sweat dripped down his temple. Everyone in. The room stood frozen, waiting for a decision. Run or stay? Then a deep voice broke the silence. Varan, send a message to the remaining ships. Tell them this. We stand. If they wish to leave, let them. But I will not run from a ship that hasn't fired. His voice cracked, but it stood. The officers looked at him, some frightened, some proud. On the screen, the red circle hit 0. The countdown ended. Everyone braced for impact. For a beam of death. for their last moment, but nothing came. The human ship didn't move, didn't fire, didn't speak. Why? Whispered Trell. What is it waiting for? Varan slowly exhaled. I think we passed its test. But far away, inside the human warship, the armored figure finally moved. He placed his hand on a second console. A new signal began broadcasting this time. To Earth, the AI spoke softly. Test complete. Subject species has broken under minimal threat. Recommend sector classification. Controlled space. Status. Secured without conflict. Back on the Dranaki flagship, Varin sat in silence. Half the fleet was gone, but they were still alive. And the human ship? It remained watching, waiting like a god that chose mercy instead of judgment. Asterisk. The countdown had ended. The Dranaki fleet held its breath. No fire. No death. No words. The human warship just floated. Motionless. Watching. Like it had already won without needing to prove it. Commander. Varan sat quietly in his chair. His claws gripped the arms of his seat, but his voice stayed calm. Status report, he said. No activity from the human ship, replied the sensor officer. No energy spikes, no weapons, no signals. How many of our ships remain? 39. Commander, the rest have fled. Varan closed his eyes. That meant over half the fleet had run. Warriors, veterans, leaders, gone in a blink, scared off by one ship that didn't fire a single shot. He couldn't blame them, but he could never forgive it. Officer Trell whispered, Do you think it's finished with us? No, Varin said. It's watching what we do next. Outside, the black human vessel hung in the dark, like a ghost carved from space itself. Its strange red lights pulsed gently. Not a threat, not a signal, just a slow heartbeat. Like it was alive, but no hails came. No names given. No purpose revealed. Hours passed. The ship never moved. The Dranaki fleet stayed frozen, waiting. Waiting for the fire that never came. Waiting for the death that never arrived. Waiting for something they could not understand. And then the human ship began to shift. Not fast. Not aggressive. Just slow. Turned away. A calm, smooth movement. Like it had finished its mission. Or judged them and chosen mercy. Commander, said the navigator, the human ship is leaving. Varan stood up. Track it. Log everything. Do not follow. The nameless ship moved toward the edge of the system. It didn't jump. It didn't vanish. It simply glided into the dark until its red lights were just a distant star. And then nothing. Gone. Back on the command deck. Silence returned. But it wasn't peace. It was the kind of silence that comes after thunder, when your ears still ring, when your heart still races. Officer Trell looked at the screen. Why didn't it destroy you? Varin didn't answer at first. Then he said, because it didn't have to. That night, across the galaxy, the signal spread. A human warship entered Drenner system. No shots fired. Half the fleet retreated. Remaining ships held position. No losses, no victory, just silence. Alien leaders met in secret. Councils argued. Some believed it was a test. Others believed it was a warning. Few believed it was just the beginning. Some systems locked. Down space travel. Others prepared for war. But no one sent a ship to Drenner. Not anymore. They renamed the sector on star maps. From Sector 4 to 9A to the Red Silence. And in the Dranaki homeworld, veterans wore new medals. Not for bravery, not for battle, but for surviving the day. A human ship came and walked away. Commander. Varan stood before a war memorial weeks later. The names of the ships that fled were not listed. Only those who stayed dot and beside them, carved in black stone, faceless, silent, unnamed. The human ship spoke once, and all the stars listened. But far, far away, deep in human space, a second warship was being built, dot larger, dot faster, dot stronger, dot, and a quiet voice echoed in its dark halls. The silence has spoken. Now the storm will come. Asterisk months passed, but no one forgot. The story of the nameless human ship spread across every corner of the galaxy. From pirate dens in asteroid belts to royal halls on crystal moons, everyone whispered the same thing. A human ship came. It spoke once, and half a fleet ran. The Drenaki High Council tried to silence the rumors. They removed it from reports. They erased it from public records. But it was too late. A name had already been given. The Ghost. No registry dot, no number dot, no proof it even existed. Just the memory of fear. On trading stations, old captains told the tale to young crew members. It didn't fire a single shot, they said. Didn't have to, others replied. It just looked at us. Some believed the story. Others laughed, but none dared enter the Drenner. System again. Space maps updated. New warnings appeared. Human presence detected. Approach forbiddens. Trade routes shifted. Scout ships rerouted. Planets were left alone. Untouched simply because they were close to where the ship had once been. And then, the strange sightings began. A flash on a scanner. A black shadow near a star. Brief hum in deep space. No ship found. No message heard. Only silence. Some called it a glitch. Others called it a sign. But everyone called it by one name, the Ghost Fleet. Because now, it wasn't just one ship. It was many. Maybe. No. One knew for sure. But they believed it. They believed humans had returned. Not as diplomats, not as invaders, but as watchers. Judges. Shadows in the dark. On a far-off alien world. A royal fleet prepared for battle drills. Then a sensor pinged. A signal from deep space. Unmarked. No ID. Red light. They canceled the drill. The entire planet went into lockdown. Just in case. No ship arrived. But fear did. Some believed it was psychological. Warfare. Others said it was spiritual. But deep in the minds of every commander, one question kept returning. What if the Ghost Fleet is real? In hidden bunkers, alien governments began planning ghost response units. They built faster escape ships, trained crews not for war, but for retreat. Weapons were tested against human metal, but always failed. And somewhere in deep space, beyond known charts, in the cold darkness where stars don't reach, the real ship drifted. The first one, the nameless one, still quiet, still watching. Inside, the black-armored humans sat before a screen, reading reports from every corner of the galaxy. AI whispered, Fear Index, 91%. System responses, 8 major fleets retreated without contact. Status, mission complete. The human didn't speak. He only nodded once, and behind him, in hidden chambers of the ship, more vessels began to power on. No names, no warnings, no flags. Only one rule. Asterisk. We don't need war. Fear is faster. Asterisk. And so the legend grew, not of battles won, but of battles never fought, because sometimes the most powerful weapon in the galaxy is the one that never fires. Asterisk.